Why line up at the Chinese barbecue shops when you can make these at home? I'm using my homemade char siu sauce to make these sticky ribs, and it's going to be awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Dude is behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. San Nin Vai Log, Sin Nian Kuai La. It is Chinese New Year. You're the rabbit this year, and we just want to wish all of you a very happy one. We are making char siu ribs today, and if you've checked out my char siu recipe for regular pork belly, and it is pork belly and not pork shoulder because it is so much more amazing when you use pork belly, you will know that this char siu sauce can go on anything. Well, maybe not everything, but anything pork. Please take a moment to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're going to get started with our marinade. I have 3.5-ish cloves of garlic, and I actually need 6, but I forgot to buy garlic. Don't you hate it when that happens? But that's okay. We're going to substitute with something else. Oh my goodness. I'm like a gong show today. And you can mince with a knife if you like. This is just easier. This is the only thing that we are needing to chop up or cut up. So I'm just going to use my garlic press. Not having enough fresh garlic is an easy fix here. I can just use garlic powder. So you want about 1/8 of a teaspoon for each clove of garlic that you're missing. In this case, I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder to 3 cloves of garlic. And that will give you about 6 cloves of garlic. Also adding a teaspoon of a 5-spice powder. And Chinese 5-spice powder is a combination of 5 different spices. I believe they are star anise, cinnamon, cloves, fennel seed, and peppercorn. And you can just purchase 5-spice powder in the markets. You don't have to make it yourself. I don't. And 1/2 teaspoon of ground white pepper. Also adding 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. And the flavors are quite different, so I wouldn't substitute one for the other. Hoisin sauce is kind of like a sweet, well, hoisin actually stands for seafood sauce, and it's quite sweet. It just has a very different flavor than the oyster sauce. Oyster sauce is more salty, and it doesn't really taste like oyster, but it does add that extra umami that we're looking for when we're making Chinese dishes. Also adding 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and 2 tablespoons of Shaoxing wine. And Shaoxing wine is just a cooking rice wine, and if you don't have Shaoxing wine, you can use just regular rice wine. Or we've been known to use bourbon in the past. You can use a dry sherry or sake, just something that will add the extra flavor that we're looking for here. Also adding a 1/2 cup of sugar. I know it's a lot, but this recipe is sweet. And 4 teaspoons of salt. And I'm using kosher salt here. I'm making a lot here, guys, so that's why there seems to be a lot of ingredients here. And lastly, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. All right, we're going to stir this and mix it up. And before we start marinating the ribs, I'm going to save a 1/4 cup, and this is going to be for the glaze after. So I did lie a little bit. We do have to cut up the pork ribs. I am using 2 racks of pork back ribs, and this is about 5.5 pounds. We're going to take the silver skin off the back. Which is fairly easy to do. And this just allows for the marinade to soak into the ribs a little bit better on the backside. Just gonna cut in between the bones, if I can find it. Sometimes with back ribs, it's hard to tell exactly where it is. I'm just gonna toss them into the bowl with the marinade.
Looks like you got the smaller bowl this time.
I thought it was the biggest one, but it's not. Anyways, I'm gonna stick my hands in here and I'm gonna move the marinade around to make sure that all the ribs are in fact coated in this marinade. I know it doesn't look like much, but you don't need much to marinate. That's why I find like those recipes that you make so much marinade and you don't need that much. Every piece of meat just needs a little bit. Look, I did it. Everything's covered.
That's a major accomplishment, Flo.
All right, we're going to cover this and put it in the fridge and let it marinate for about an hour. And you can marinate it up to overnight. The longer you let it marinate, the more flavorful it's gonna be. All right, we're done marinating. I can't tell you how good this smells already, and we haven't even done anything yet. I have about a cup of water in my pressure cooker, and I've added a rack, and I'm just gonna put my ribs right on top. And I find that the electric pressure cooker actually does a really good job with ribs. You can cook them in like 15 minutes of cook time. And this is a 6-quart pot, so I know all my ribs can fit in there because I know 2 racks of ribs can fit easily in here. See? There's still a little bit of marinade at the bottom there.
All right. Nice job.
You're putting the lid on, making sure the sealing knob is on sealing. And we're going to pressure cook it on high for 15 minutes. Why can't I see the buttons? Oh, here. And we like our meat to have a little bit of tug on the ribs. So if you want it to be more fall off the bone, then I would put it in for 18 minutes. While the ribs are cooking, I'm going to prepare my glaze. Remember, we had saved a 1/4 cup of the marinade, and I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of honey. You can probably tell that the sauce or the marinade is not red like the char siu that you find in the barbecue shops. And my recipe is probably more like the Malaysian style char siu marinade. Well, I'm assuming because the best char siu we've ever had was in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. They really do have such delicious char siu, and their char siu is not red like the ones that we find here. So I'm just letting you know, it's still a super, super tasty. I don't know what makes it red, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm also adding 2 tablespoons of water. And that's it. Once the ribs are done, we're going to glaze them and throw them under the broiler.
All right, the timer is up.
All right, quick releasing the pressure. All right, here we go. It smells amazing. All right, I know they don't look like much right now, but they will. All right, we're going to put these on a sheet pan. I have a full-size sheet pan here. And I lined it with some parchment paper. You know, so long as you have your parchment paper not sticking up, it should be fine under the broiler. But to be safe, you can always use aluminum foil.
And for our friends in the UK, aluminium.
I'm just gonna use a baster and baste on the sauce. And we're gonna stick these under the broiler for 3 to 5 minutes on each side. All right, 3 to 5 minutes under the broiler. All right, that was 5 minutes. All right, so now we want to do the other side. And use whatever marinade is remaining. Another 3 to 5 minutes on the other side. All right. Okay, this was 4 minutes on the other side. I know you can't wait to dig in, dude. If you don't want to put them under the broiler, you can always throw these on the grill and they will be amazing. Now I know you're all ready for...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I get excited a lot about FLO'S food because genuinely, it's good. Here it goes. Actually, I should smell it first. Oh, the honey, char siu. Oh yeah, so good. Ah, hot. Great way to do the ribs. The flavor is permeating into the meat, so you get that outer glaze with a bit of sweetness. And then you bite into it. More depth of the umami, the saltiness of it. This would go awesome with, well, just about anything because it's so good.
Awesome, thanks, dude. So again, Happy New Year to all of you. And if you want to check out more Chinese barbecue recipes, check it out. I will see you over there.